皆様ごきげんよう、読みと知らずでございます。今日もフォーゴットンシティ忘れられた都市続きをプレイしていきたいと思います。今日はね、まず冒頭でですね、ちょっとバグかどうかわかんないんだけど、緑の女性をね、追いかけてったら、鍵のかかった扉のね、なんか牢屋みたいなところに入れるんじゃないかなというところでね、ちょっと検証してみたいなので、そっからね、ちょっとやっていきたいと思います。はい、このね、暗殺者をここでね、倒すじゃないですか。で、アイテムをね、取って、で、まあ、クエストいろいろクリアして、で、またクエストが始まったりとかするんですけど、そうするとですね、こっちの方からね、緑色の女性の人が走ってくるんですよね。うん。で、その人をね、追いかけてったら、鍵のかかった、あ、この人ね。うん。鍵のかかったところに入れるんじゃないかなと思うので、ちょっとついていきます。まあ、話しかけることもね、できるんですけど、うん。この後だよね、多分ね。絶対入れるよね、これね。ここダメダメちょっとどいてすぐ入れるこれ。あれ消えた。どっか行った。ちょっと先までしすぎた。うん。ちょっと待ってね。もう一回試すわ。真後ろギリギリにつけといたらね、入れる気がするんだよね。うん。この人がね、扉開けて入るんだよ。さあ、どうだ。一緒に入りたいんだが。ほら入れた。ほら来たよ。来たけどさ、これ、外出られなくなったよ。どうよ。バグだよね、これね。ちょっといろいろ調べようか。木の彫刻。あ、銘板手に入った。そうか、こんなところに隠し持ってたんだ。ああ。富の父、プルート。じゃあこれ持ってさ、宮殿の前行って、銘板はめればいいんだ、これ。こんなところにあったんだ。あ、こっから出られるやん、これ。あー、すげえ。これバグじゃないわ、多分。うん、バグかと思ったけど。ちゃんとしたこれ正規ルートだ、これ。特にここ調べられないね。ごめん。お取り込み中だって。そうか。不法侵入って言ってるね。やっぱこっちからはね、出られないよね、これね。おっ、そういうことか。あまり長居してたらダメだったんだ。そうか、不法侵入は罪を問われるんだ、これ。これどうやって出よう。あれかな、今出ていく瞬間にさ、一緒に出ていかないと、これ、持ち出せないのか。銘板。ね、この時点で手に入ってるもんね、これ。だよね。あと出ていきそうなのはここなんだけど。いける？ 無理か。この上から。あ、いけるわ。こっから出ていけるわ。あ、これで持ち出せるな。オッケー。いた。ちょっと待ってね。HP 回復するの待つ。オッケー。行こうか。でも動いてないよね。めっちゃ睨んでくるけど。でもここ安全だよね。で、これ使って、まあまあいいよ。はーい。なんかバグでなんか入れたのかなんかね、わかんないんですけど、正規のルートで入ったのかね、どうかわかんないんですけど、これ手に入ったわ。はい、これまたね、使えるところがあるので、はい、また今度使いたいと思います。
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
弓の話が出てたな。うん。まあいいや、とりあえず急ぎでやってもらいましょう。
Serious. I'm listening.
うん。お、いいね。ファビアがスカーレテネ聖堂に避難するのをやめてほしい。そして新しく来た人には、探し物はそこで見つかると伝えてほしい。え、どういうことこれ。ああ、そっかそっかそっか。暗殺者の話だ。オッケ
ー。Alright, let me see.
Stop
Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
で、あと、リュウマチ。
Poor guy. My uncle was a victim at rheumatism's altar, and he ended up killing himself. Alright, got it.
さあ、頑張って。
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
よし。で、用事してもらってる間に、お金だよね。お金だけ持ってって、ここにあるので、うん。とりあえずこれで1000円出ない溜まったんで、これでさ、あの女の人救いに行こう。でもさ、あのイベント発生させようと思ったらさ、一回死んでもらわないとダメなんだよね。違う？
You there. I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying.
いや、この話はね、どうでもいいんだけど、まあまあいいや。とりあえずこの話進めるか。話を続けて。象が動き出し、黄金の指で市民を撃つ。
And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly one or two of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste.
おお、びっくりした。暗殺者だよね。暗殺者がこれで倒れた。
The goose that laid the golden egg.With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
これかなとりあえず。金の卵を産むガチョウは禁句として語られる話だと思うが。
Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not?
興味がある。
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
知らない。
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the
ディアナ
moon,
は
and the
狩猟の女神。
depending on who you ask.
月の女
The one
神で
thing
あり、
priests and poets agree
冥
on
界の女
is
神
that
で
she
もある。
carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows.
黄
And
金
it
の
just
弓を
so
持っているの
happens
か
that there is a shrine of
ディアナ聖
Diana
堂。
in this very forum with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
黄金の弓か？
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking, you know what.
で、私にそれを盗んでほしいのか？
Oh, gods no! If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers,
明かりを
and the
消す
cover
と
of darkness, swap
本
out
物
the
と
fake
偽
for the
物を
original.
取り替え
It's
る。
not theft exactly, it's more
取
of a...
引。本当かこれは？
Make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
なぜ自分でやらないのか？
I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you.
そうか。それはとても危険ではないのか？
When Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger?
なるほど。確か、プロメティウスは永遠の罰も受けたはずだ。
Only because he was silly enough to get caught.
ただ取るだけではダメか？
Because the gods would see you, of course.
そう
Hence
か。
my proposal.
わかった。
So, are you in, partner?
引き受けるが、絶対に相棒とは呼ぶなよ。
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are.
早いな。
Gold leaf bow.
偽物の弓。
Now I've gone and unlocked the shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
ああ、そこか。いや、その前にね、薬が欲しいんだよな。薬。
Ah, back again, I see.
薬くれ、薬。そう、これこれこれ。これが欲しいんだ。
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
いいだろう。買うよ。まあ、とりあえずちょっと理由聞きたいよね。人の命を救う薬の値段を釣り上げてるんだって。一体どうして？
Oh, it's perfectly legal. Simply a question of supply and demand, I'm afraid. Take it or leave it.
そうか。ただそれだけか。手に入れてって言ってるね。今のは聞こえたか？
Hear what?
聞こえてない。ささやきだよ。
Ah, you sure you're feeling all right? If you're hearing things, perhaps you should pay a visit to Lucretia's clinic.
そうだな。
We don't want another Navia on our hands.
ナイビアに何が起きた？
She claimed the statues were whispering to her. Nobody else could hear it. Then she shut herself in the palace and we never heard from
お、
her
いいね。
again.
ナイビアの情報が手
But
に入
I
った。
digress. Do you want this silver
あ、欲しい
or not?。
欲しい欲しい。もし私がそれを盗もうとしたらどうなる？
Well, if you did that, you'd break the golden rule. And
そう
we'd
だな。
share the same fate as the last lot who lived here.
そりゃそうだ。
Is that what you want?
手に入れて逃げって言ってるけど。うん、おそらくあなたの言う通りだ。
We agree on something. Now, do you want to make a purchase?
はい、買います買います。はいはいはいはい、宣伝なり。
Oh, you have it. I'm impressed.
え？盗むの？クエストがダメだって。これ盗んだ方がよかったの？
Pleasure doing business. Can I help you with anything else?
まあ、ついでにちょっと聞いとこう。誰に投票するつもりだ？
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
投票してくれるかな？センティウスに投票してほしい。
Not gonna
それはないか？そうか。OK。
Very well. Another time.
ちょっと待って、初めてクエストにね、×がついたんだけど。ちょっと待ってね。なんかクエストが固定されたね、これ。とりあえずこの人のさ、クエストを進めないとダメなのかな？ねえ、他のクエストできなさそうだよね。ちょっと一回に、試しにさ、救えるかどうかやってみる。
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She needs the resin of a plant called silphium.
シルフィウムの樹脂なら少し持っている。使うといい。
What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you.
どう？
Hopefully in a
Ah, okay,
moment
okay.
she should be able to breathe
治った。
normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this
いいね、
exact
クエスト更新。
thing? And at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle?
お、クエストクリア。いいね。これは、これの方がいい気がするけどね。まあまあ、本当のことを言おう。私はタイムトラベラーだ。
A what? I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. I
通
think
じ
it's
なか
your
ったね。
accent because it sounded like you said time traveler. But whatever kind of traveler you are, that was like the gods hearing my prayers and intervening. You just saved a person's life, and you
お、
should
トリ
be
をゲット
proud
し
of
ました。
yourself.
メディック。
She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need. That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Yulia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
OK。これで、とりあえず彼女を救える道。つうか、もう回復してるやん。すげえ早いな。まあまあ、もうこんなんね、手に入れても仕方ないけど。さあ、ちょっとユーリアの話を聞いてみようか。どうしたんだ、ユーリア。
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted?
ルクレティアには休みなさいと言われてるけど。
I'm supposed to rest.
とりあえず何があったのか聞かせてほしい。
As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me,
あ、そうなん
it's
だ。
just not safe for me to talk about it.
ダメか。
No more questions.
一体どうやって、黄金糸を破らずにあなたに毒を漏れたのか知りたい。
The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler.
あ、そうなんだ。その人が毒を持ったのか？
Please, just leave me alone.
ダメか。
I don't want to talk about it.
あなたが事情を話さないなら、私も手伝えない。説得になってんのかな、これは。どうだろう。
Persistent as Nemesis, aren't you?
お、ネメシスが出てきた。
I can tell you, but it's a
お、
long
オッケーオッケー。
saga.
話してくれるね。時間はいくらでもある。
All right. I'd been here about a week. When it
1
dawned
週
on
間
me
経った
I
ぐらい
could
に
trap
私は一生
fear
ここに
for
閉
the
じ込められる
rest
な
of
と
my
思ったと。
life.
どうにかして外に出なければならないと。
I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new
で
friend Aurelia
アウレリア
offered
か
me
ら
a secret
ああ、
way
やっぱ
out,
り、そうだよ
I would have
な。
done anything.
ああ、やっ
And
ぱ
then I
り。
learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii.
あ
She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take
ーやっ
me
ぱこい
years
つが
to
原因だった
save
か。
up that much.
酒場の人
So
ね。
she suggested I take
酒場
out
の
a
女性。
loan from Malleolus,
うん。
and I did.
あーなぜ彼はそんな額のお金を貸してくれたのだ。借金をすべて返し終える前にここを出ていこうと考えていたのか。いや、上だな。なんでそんな金を貸してくれるんだと。
I had to sign an agreement saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years.
うんうんう
But
ん。
I
まあまあね、
figured
ここからね、
I'd
出
be
ていくんだ
out
ったら
of
ね、
here
もう
so
関係性も
soon
ね、なく
it
なるから。
wouldn't matter.
うん、どうでも
I
いいやって
paid
感じだよね。
Aurelia,
うん。
and she gave me her so-called way out.
毒でしょ。
Do you
買った
want
買
to
った
know what it was?
私も買いました。ヘムロックだ。
You figured it out already. I wish I'd been so astute. Drink this,
そう
she
だね。
said,
うん。
and you'll be out of here in no time.
詐欺師だもんね。
Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her
責任は
cabin
買い手が負うと。
saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at
そう
me with
アウレ
those
リアはね、
cruel
ビジネスのためにや
black
ってるからね。
eyes, and
うん。人のことなんて知ったこっちゃないってね、そんな感じだから。
She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back.
うん。
Only he didn't seem
ってことは、マ
upset
レオ
or
ラスとさ、
surprised at
あの
all.
酒場の女性は繋がってるよね。
In fact, he just
うん。
thanked her.
そうそう
And
そ
that's
う、
when
そういう
I
ことだね。
realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
でもそれは黄金律に反するのでは。
That's what I said to the magistrate.
うん。
I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law
法は
was
絶
clear.
対。
I'd signed over my labor for
ああ、そういう
30
ことか。
years, and
なる
there
ほど
was
な。
nothing he
う
could do.
ん。
I thought about resisting too,
うん。
but Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa,
そうか。
confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest,
ひどいな。
humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad.
うん。
She set me
クラウディ
to
アが
work
妻
on
か。
an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be
奴
on
隷
my
のように
hands and knees
扱われ。
scrubbing the floor clean for
うん。
hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me.
お、その彼らがただ一つだけ奪うのを忘れていたものがある。
My hemlock.
ヘムロック。ああ、そうか。そうか、それで。これはどっちがいいのかな。いや、まだ断定しない方がいいね。そうか、それで。
I just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too.
まあまあ、自分で飲んだってことだね、これね。
Should have drunk all of it.
これひどくないこれ。ねえ。それは本当に大変だ。
I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
この後、どうするつもりだ。
When I've recovered, I expect their thug
ドミティウス、
Domitius will come for
迎え
me.
にやってくる。
He'll
あの館
escort
に
me
連れ
back
戻さ
to
れ。
their villa,
ああ、そういうことか。
and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a
どっかに
permanent
隠れてればいいんじゃ
solution.
ない。
Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course.
沖の奥に何か手伝えることはないか。
I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Huh. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
いい考えがある。自由になるために必要な金額はいくらだろうか。あ、そうだよね。お金さえ返せばいいんだ。そうだ。
A lot. But it doesn't matter.
昨夜、ウルピウスと一緒に命を絶つと約束した。そうなの？
He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelius set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me.
じゃあ、ウルピウスを次探せばいいんだ。今頃は崖の上からマラレウスの邸宅に身投げしたでしょ。あ、そうなの？
I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him.
そうか。ウルピウスは今自殺しようとしてるんだな。オッケー。大丈夫だ。きっと彼も助けられるかもしれない。
I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time.
大丈夫。タイムループがあるから大丈夫。
You seem so determined to help me, but thank you.
今すぐ取り掛かる。あ、ついてるね。虚勢。ちょっと待ってね。まだ君には聞きたいことがたくさん。
Oh, it's you again. Is everything all right?
そうそう、センティラのこともね、聞きたいんだよね。まあ、その前にあなたのことを教えてほしい。
You mean my life story? Oh, well, I grew up as part of a big family in Rome. Me and 3 older sisters. Our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while.
火事が起きるまでは。
7 months ago when the fires came,
必死に倉庫を守ろうとした。
my colleagues and I worked desperately to try to protect our warehouse. We must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water, chanting prayers to Vulcan,
バル
but
カ
they
に
fell on deaf
祈
ears.
ってた。
The fire was relentless and it claimed everything
ああ、みんな死んじゃったんだ
and
ね。
everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river and then the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here.
お、また増えたね。エクイティアに複数のものがコインについてなんちゃらかんちゃら。それは大変だ。
Thank you. But to be honest, sometimes I think dying in that fire might have been a blessing, given what's happened since.
まあでも共通点まだまだなんかありそうだね。これで4つ目だもんね。ここから出る方をしているか？
If that's your idea of a joke, it's not funny.
ごめん。
Go away.
ごめんなさい。
I know what kind of person you are. Leave me alone.
ごめん。まあセンティアのことはまた次回にしよう。あれは聞かない、聞いてはいけない選択肢だったんだね。OK。さあ、そこに一つありますけれども。つかさ、クエストが選べなくなったんだよね。なんでなんでエクイティアさん、また情報が手に入ったわ。
A new face. Arve and may Vesta watch over you.
ね。
Interesting. I'm not sure why you're telling me, but you've...
コインの話。
Yes, I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? What else?
川。
Yes, what else?
記憶。あった、若い女性だ。
And did you happen to catch her name?
カレン。
I see.
フード。わかった。浴場で会おう。
But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
一緒に入浴してくれるの？ マジか。さあ、どうしようかな。こっちはさ、またさ、この人とさ、仲直りしてから、うん。なんで、先、風呂行く、風呂。一緒に入浴してくれるんだって。かなり遠くまで行ってるよね。そろそろ行ってもいいかな。よし。お、ロード入った。あ、ここって浴場だったんだ。ああ、そういうことか。一番初めね、ここの世界に到達する前、多分ね、ここね、通過してってるよ。うん。ちょっと待ってね、なんかね、この先行ったらね、進みそうなんで、一旦ここでね、セーブしておきたいと思います。さあ、進めていきましょう。浴場だけどさ、誰もいないよね。何人かが入ってるのかなとかね、思ったんだけど。すごいな、これ。泳げるやん。この浴場広い。向こう側もさ、泳げるのかなここ。あ、ここは、そうでもないか。お、なにこれ。あ、そうか。まあまあいいや、行こう。なんかさ、この先さ、脱出経路になってる気がするんだけど。気のせいかな。これね、目標とクエストがね、別々になってるでしょ。なんかこっち進めたらさ、なんか先進んだよね。さあ、とりあえず話しかけようか。他何もないよね。さあ、ゆくいたさん。では始めましょう。あなたが川辺で出会った女性はフードをかぶってましたね。私はなぜそれを知っていたか。この浴槽の底を見てください。うん。
Somebody waking up by a river in a forest
なる
to
ほど。
find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't
カレンで
Karen.
はなかった。あ、そうな
It
の
was
あ、カロン。
C-H-A-R-O-N.
へえ。
Charon, the
死
ferryman
者の
of the
渡り
dead.
森。カロン。
Charon, who, in
Oh.
exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly
Oh.
deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up.
トロフィーを受け取しま
I
した
checked your pockets for ID,
ブラッ
but
ド
all
レ
I
スシャ
found
ドウ
was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry.
もうすでに死んでいるってことでしょ。これ違うのだよね。そういうことだよね。ここは明快なのか。
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
そうか。思ってたエンディングと違うな。つまり私たち死んでいる。そういうことだな。
Last thought too.
うん。
In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were
ああ、そうかそうか。まだ生きてる可能性もある
So
と。
I'm afraid I don't know.
カロンについて教えてほしい。
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin.
オーボロスっていうコイン。
That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
じゃあそのオボロスっていうコインを手に入れればいいんじゃないの？なぜみんなカロンだとすぐにわからなかったのか。
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different
ああ、姿を
guises.
変えるんだ。
You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kurti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound.
まあ、イニシャルは共通してる
The
ね。
only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
冥界にはなぜこんなに人が少ないの？
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had
あ
one
あ、
in
な
our
るほど。
possession.
コインを持っている人だけここに来てるんだ。
Maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
あなたはこのことを私に隠そうとしていたのか？
No.
違います。
I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help. I promise you.
OK。もう聞くことはない。
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it. If we don't want to be cast
そうだ
into
ね。
gold for eternity.
黄金律を何とかしないと。
We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in
4人
particular
の英雄。
about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of
ヘラク
Jupiter.
レス、
Orpheus, a
オルフ
Thracian
ィエス、
poet.
シュシュポス、
Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra, and Aeneas,
アエ
a
ネアス。
Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld
Oh.
because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit
秘密の
guide
門。
who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
入ってきた道を通って抜け出せないのか？
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here.
ああ、そうか、やっ
There's
ぱり
no way
無理
to
か。
climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by
はし
those
ご
who
作っちゃダメ
tried.
なんだ。そうか。冥界の神を名前で呼ぶことに抵抗があるようだが、どうして？
All Romans try to avoid saying it.
Ah,
And the reason is
そういうことか。
quite simple.
なるほ
He
どね。
might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
ブルートに立ち向かうことについて詳しく教えてほしい。
Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you
あ
are
あ、ごめん
from?
ごめん。
That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
ヘラクレスには時間を操ることはできなかった。私には奥の手がある。こっちだよね。タイムループ。
I'll admit, you do seem different to anyone I've ever met. And even that lamp of yours looks like something Prometheus might have stolen from the gods. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for
あのお
that,
方の
you'll
所
need
見
to
を賜る
enter
必要
the
がある
great
と。
temple overlooking the
大神殿
city.
に入らなくてはなりません。
The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as
大丈
long
夫、
as
も
I've
うプレー
lived
ト持
here.
ってるから。
And there doesn't seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm
あ、
not sure if
4
you
枚もあるの？
noticed, but
そう
there
な
are
んだ。
4 plaques missing from its
1枚じゃ
base.
ダメか。
It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques,
そうか。
I
OK。
imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
オベリスクについて教えてほしい。
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
へえ、そうなんだ。エクイティアに、失われた名盤のありかを聞くと。エクイティア、あ、この人か。ギリシャの名盤はどこで見つけられるのか。
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the
Georgius.
local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
なるほど。エジプトは？
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
じゃあ謎の名盤は？
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one. But perhaps finding the other 3 will illuminate the way.
これ一つ足りてないのはもうすでに一つ手に入れたからだよね。じゃないひょっとして。これはプロセピナや他の導きを得て脱出する方法について詳しく聞かせてほしい。
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
つまり彼女は私たちを助けるために彼に対抗する気があるかもしれないと。
If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
時折女性の像が私に囁きかける声を聞く。
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
いつも同じ声だ。少し謎めいているが、役立つ助言をしてくれる。
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
おそらく彼女は流れに逆らって歩いてって言ってた。意味がわからない。
That is strange. There are no rivers here. Let me think on that.
何を意味しているのか意見を聞かせてほしい。
Well, as far as I can tell, water flows into the city from an aqueduct.
お、出てきたね。上層のシスターン。
The upper cistern. If that's the current she's talking about, then perhaps you need to get into the upper cistern somehow. I vaguely recall wondering what was in there, but the door at the back of the great temple is locked up tight. You might be able to get a key from the magistrate.
政務官に言えば
But
手
if
に入
that
る。
doesn't work, perhaps you can
別の方
find
で入らな
another
ければ
way
いけない。
in. Let me know if you find anything in there.
OK、了解。センティウスに上層シスターの鍵が欲しいと言うと。OK、わかった。始める準備はできている。
Alright. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been
いいね、
shouldering
パンドラの
the
箱。
weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
リビアとここが明快であるということをどうのこうのと言ってますね。そうだな。まずはリビアと話しかけてみようか。
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you, although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
ああ、言ってた。はい。ということで、今日はとりあえずここまでにしておきたいと思います。ご視聴いただきましてありがとうございました。チャンネル登録、Twitter、Twitch の方はフォローの方よろしくお願いいたします。ってな感じで、そうそう脱出できそうだね。なんかいろんなクエストいっぱい残ってるけど。はい。次回は、そうだね。とりあえずリディアと話して、脱出する方法をね、探していこうかな。で、またタイムループしたらさ、新しいクエストとかね、進めていけばいいと思うし。はい、そんな感じで次回やっていこうと思います。ということで今日はここまで。また次回の動画でお会いしましょう。以上、読みたするでした。それじゃあ、またね。